السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد عبده ورسوله أما بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا أعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. My dear brothers and sisters, we assemble today on the day of assembly in the place of assembly. We are in the Jummah, في الجامع يوم الجمعة. In Arabic, as we've mentioned before, the root verb jama'a means to assemble, is the root verb of all three words. The place, the jama', the day, yawm al-jum'ah, and this gathering, al-jama'a, the assembly. And the reason why this verb is important, and I start with it, is because we don't just gather, we assemble, meaning from many different units, a new single unit is created. If I bring together some random pebbles or random stones, that's gathering. They say gather berries, gather strawberries, gather pebbles, but you assemble a car. You bring different parts that may not have meaning alone, but when put together, they become a new thing that functions in a new way and that has new meaning. That is what this community is about. We gather together to have a single new unit that has new meaning, called the ummah, the jama'ah, the community. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with this day to reflect on the core values of this great faith in order to recharge our hearts and our spirits and our minds, not just for the week, but for longer, inshallah, to work together in the same direction of what is good for our community, inshallah. I began using a verse from the Quran, as is the Sunnah in the Khutbah, but also this verse, which focuses on justice, is important because what I like to do as much as possible is focus on the core values of this religion. There are many stories that talk about certain historical happenstance, certain political opinions, some social commentary, but all of that is secondary to the core values from which everything else emanates or is built upon. The core values of this religion are more important than anything, because everything is designed for these core values to be promoted. For example, one of the most important core values is Tawheed. That's the beginning. The belief that there is one God who is the master of the universe, Why is that such an important core value? Why is that the foundational value? If we believe that there is a God who has made this world and made us, who is in charge of our present and our future, this helps reset how we think about ourselves and the world. We have a sense of security that we're not alone. We understand that we answer to someone. We have a sense of justice, that if it's not just doing the right thing to be nice or to get applause or a pat on the back, but even when no one sees us, we have the belief that there is a master of the universe who sees us, and we answer to him and him alone. And this allows for this, not just doing good things in public, but even in private. And to know that you have this sense of security that you're never alone. And that if there is a master of the universe, I need to have no fear about what is unknown, because it is known to him. I may not know what will happen to me tomorrow or next month or next year, but if I'm good with God, I don't need to know. That sense of security then gives us the freedom to be able to live justly and not be concerned about tyrants or concerned about the harm of those who don't like justice, because we're good with the most powerful, the all-powerful. So it builds a whole system from which all of the other values emanate, including, as I mentioned, one of the most important core values, that of justice, which brings us back to the verse. And I'll translate it. O ye who believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the believers. And he says, Kunu qawwamina lillah. Be steadfast in standing with God, your creator. Do not fear. Be strong in standing in the way of God. And we go back to the core values. When we say the way of God, what do we mean? All that is good comes from God. When we're talking about compassion, when we're talking about empathy for others, when we're talking about charity and giving, when we're talking about justice, when we're talking about care, when we're talking about excellence, when we're talking about cleanliness and purity, when we're talking about honesty, all of these things are in the way of God. When you stand with God, you stand for those things. And when you stand for those values, you stand in the way of Allah. Be strong in standing with God through these values. Shuhada bil qisti, and be a witness on giving everything its due proportion, its due justice. And do not let the hatred of a people cause you to be unjust. This is really important, because many a time, just the nature of human beings, when we're angry, we become vengeful. And when that happens, we become blind to justice. There is a story with Ali ibn Abi Talib, where in battle, in the heat of battle, being the strong warrior that he is, he was able to overpower his opponent. And he was just about to strike him with his sword in the heat of battle. You can imagine the horses, the dust, the clash of metal, the sunshine, the heat. And his opponent lifted his head up and spat on him. And at that moment before he struck, he held his sword back and pushed the guy away. And the man said, "Why do you not kill me?" And Ali said, "Because I fear that in this moment, if I kill you now, it is out of pure anger and personal vengefulness. It is not for the sake of justice and the sake of God." Whereas before, he was fighting purely, not to kill, not to harm, but to prevent those who are harming and killing. In other words, in defensiveness for the sake of justice and for the sake of truthfulness and for the sake of God. So even then, he was able to audit himself. And God reminds us, don't let the hatred of a people cause you to be unjust. Be just even to those whom you don't like. Justice is the way of God. That is aqrab li taqwa. That is closer to piety, to righteousness. Now, justice can take many forms. Indeed, in Islam, as we've mentioned, I believe before in a previous khutbah here a few years ago, that justice is not just reserved for the courthouse, in places where you have a judge and a prosecutor and an attorney and a jury and a verdict. This is how most people think of justice. Or political justice, where you stand up to tyranny. It's either legal or political. But no, in Islam, justice permeates all things. I often say, and I say this to underscore the point, but in Islam, going to the gym is a form of justice. Going to the gym is a form of justice. And I'll explain that in a minute. But first, let's understand what justice is. In Islam, there are 3 words for justice, not one. There's adl, there's qist, and there's mizan. Now, adl is the one that most people refer to, but we forget qist and we forget mizan. Let's begin with qist. Qist is to give everything its due proportion. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that many things have a right upon us, and to give everything that has a right upon you its due rights. Inna li badanaka alayka haqq, inna li ummika alayka haqq, inna li jasadika, inna li aqlika, inna li rawhaka. Many things has a right upon you. Your body has a right upon you. Your parents have rights upon you. Your community has rights upon you. Your spouse has rights upon you. Your children have rights upon you. Your employees have rights upon you. The environment has rights upon you, meaning rights we need to deliver in order to be just, in order to be righteous. When you deliver these rights, you are achieving a level of justice in your life. So going to the gym is justice to the body. Being good to our parents is justice to our parents, or to our spouse, or to our children. Giving to your community and standing with your community to promote what is good and prohibit what is evil is justice to that community. Taking care of our environment is justice to our planet. And the ultimate justice and the ultimate injustice has to do with the soul. You'll see in the Quran many times it references ظُلْمَ النَّفْسِ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسِهِمْ. If justice was simply something that was in the courthouse or in the political process, then what does that mean? Well, in this case it means denying your soul its due rights upon you. What is the right of my soul upon me? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me and empowered me and delegated to me the power to have some power, some command over where I end up going. There's eternity in the hellfire and eternity in heaven. Imagine how profoundly unjust and unfair it would be for me to allow my soul, myself, to live in a place of darkness and pain and agony for eternity by my own hand when I had the option to live in eternal bliss. How profoundly unjust this would be to the self. That is ظُلْمَ النَّفْس. And that is the most common form of injustice. Is that injustice which we do to ourselves, to deny ourselves that bliss that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened a door for. So this is the qist, to give everything its due proportion. Now mizan is where you balance between them. Because it is conceivable that I might give all the rights that my soul deserves and then deny my body or my parents or my community. And in this case, is that good? If the soul is so important, should I not give it everything? No, because the justice in Islam is different from the common understanding. The common understanding is if something is good, then the more the merrier. But in Islam, it's very clear. If something is good, balance is still needed for it to be truly good. It's not the more the merrier. So there was a case with the Prophet ﷺ where 2 brothers came to him. One prayed all day. Prayer is good. Does anybody disagree? Prayer is wonderful. He prayed all day in the masjid. And the other one, he prayed on time when it was time to pray, and he added the nawafil. But when it was time for work, he was there for work. When it was time for the family, he was there for the family. And the Prophet ﷺ said the latter is the Muslim. That is the example of a Muslim. We don't have in our religion the monk lifestyle, the monastery lifestyle, the idea that you seclude and you worship in order to enter heaven. No, the Prophet ﷺ was someone who was engaged in every aspect of life. He prayed in the masjid. and he gave charity, and he fasted, and he performed the pilgrimage, and he did worship and read the Quran and dhikr and so on and so forth. But he was also a statesman, and he was also a farmer, and he was also a shepherd, and he was also a husband, and he was also a community leader, and he was also someone who spent time with children, and a volunteer, and so on and so forth. He was someone who was engaged in every aspect of life. He was not someone who was secluded. So the mizan, the balance. So remind yourselves, if you think, and I remind myself first, that I'm being more pious by spending more time with the Quran at the expense of my own children or my own wife, I have to question that. I spend enough time, but I balance things out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need us. We need Him. And His instructions to us is to achieve mizan, balance in all things. So if one spouse is complaining, then how good is that piety and that religiosity that causes you to be away from the needs of those who are closest to you? Indeed, to be attentive to the needs of those around you is piety, along with reading the Quran. And again, balance. So it's not to suggest that one should just go and be attentive and to listen and then ignore his or her, worship. That lacks balance in the other direction. So we're being very clear here. It's about balance, giving everything its due proportion and balancing between the things. And thirdly, adl. So now that we know that things have rights upon us and we need to deliver those rights, and we know that we need to have balance between them, so what is adl? Adl is the direction towards God, the straight path. Because it is conceivable that I could be just in the sense of, if I treated everybody here equally, but equally bad, technically, I'm being just because I'm being equitable. But in Islam, that's not justice, because it's not just about proportions and balance. These all are things that have to do with metrics. But it's also about a direction in the way of God. So to treat people badly is not in the way of God. So it doesn't matter if I'm equitable. It doesn't matter if I give proportion. It doesn't matter if I have balance. It's not in the way of God to begin with. So we learn and we understand what is in the way of God. So the adl, the direction, if those of you who have studied vectors is an arrow. It has a direction and it has a distance. It doesn't matter how far you go if you're in the wrong direction. So the direction is very important. In the way of God, this is what adl really means. Now I want to bring it back to a form of justice of all of these forms that really matters, and that is community justice, justice in society. And I want to bring attention to one organization that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with the opportunity to serve, and that is right here in Columbus, CARE Columbus. This is an organization whose mission it is, day in and day out, to achieve justice for our community members. How? 3 ways. We understand that today, living in America as citizens, we have rights. But these rights are only as strong as our ability to stand up and defend them and fight for them and ensure that they're delivered. History tells us that. Today's politics tell us that. Every community whose rights are preserved has an organization that knows how to fight for those rights. For the Muslim community, up until we built CARE, you built CARE, we didn't have anything to help us fight for those rights. But today, because of your contributions, because of your commitment to this proportion that we need, justice for the community, we have this entity. 3 ways. Legally. If any of your rights are violated legally, you have a place to go to that can help you free of charge. You recall when I was here, you might recall a couple of years ago, or actually last year, we had a case where more than a dozen Muslim workers were unceremoniously fired from the workplace for praying during their break. Here, Columbus represented those Muslims, fought for their rights to be able to use their time the way they want, and was able to persuade the court of this reality, and the judge sided with CARE and the Muslim employees, alhamdulillah, and as a result they were vindicated. And in his ruling, in his 33-page ruling, It almost sounded like someone who studied Al-Azhar, from how he talked, how he wrote about Salah and how Salah works and its importance. This could not have happened simply by complaining and putting our hands up. This could not have happened if we just went home and hung our heads low and said, oh, there's injustice in America, there's Islamophobia in America. This could only have happened if we have a full-time office with full-time employees, with briefcases and paperwork and files and computers and telephones who are buzzing around 24/7 fighting for this community. One of many, many cases. The young woman who is running track and had her time, she finished the meet, and at the end she was disqualified for no other reason than having a hijab, is being represented by CARE Columbus. And I guarantee you, inshallah, that we will change the laws so that a woman who wants to practice her religion will not be excluded as a result. We will change the laws here in Columbus and in Ohio, inshallah. Many cases of people who are denied entry, denied green cards, denied citizenship, denied work authorizations for no other reason than being Muslim, or being Muslim in a way that the government may not like. Their beard is a little too dark or too long, their hijab is a little too tight or too long, etc., etc. We fight for the rights of these travelers, and alhamdulillah, CARE Columbus has been able to win entry for 50 Muslims who were denied entry over the last couple of years. Legally, the examples are many. Housing discrimination, employment discrimination, airport discrimination, schooling, bullying, etc. We need this backbone. Once upon a time, to be a Muslim meant to be able to stand up in jihad. But jihad doesn't only mean physical battle. Jihad means simply to fight for what is right, to struggle in the way of God, and to sacrifice as needed. Today the jihad is non-violent. Today the jihad is about a pen and a microphone. It's about knowledge base. It's about knowing how to achieve justice for our people through the channels that exist. Legally, politically, media-wise, and those are the other two. We mentioned legally, politically and media-wise as well. Here in Columbus, you now have a team of people who are able to sit with these legislators, even as we're busy with our medical practices, our schools, or businesses, whatever it is that we do, our stores. These individuals, men and women, are meeting with these legislators and letting them know who Muslims are and what Muslims demand in terms of the issues that matter to us. Are able to stand up against the banning of Sharia, whatever that means. This whole scare that anything that has to do with Sharia is so horrible and so scary, and we need to ban Sharia everywhere, as if Sharia is taking over America. All the Sharia means is the law of Muslims on a personal, family matters. And we're able to stand up, alhamdulillah, so far strike down every anti-Sharia bill that has been introduced. They are able to meet with legislators on the Capitol Hill days that they have locally, over 30 last month, and nationally, about 16 in DC this year. And each one of those, you're talking about learning about who Muslims are and what their issues are, instead of being ignorant and ambivalent to these issues. We can cry about Islamophobia all day. We can cry about the consequences all day. Or we can build power to do something about it and to change, to force change, not through violence or through whining and crying or through begging and pleading, but through confidence, through representation, through logic, through persuasion, through appealing to the better nature of our fellow citizens. And that's what we do. And the media is an important place in which we do that, because the media is a place in which mindsets are shaped, ideas are shaped, opinions are shaped. And if those who hate us are investing millions of dollars in blogs and radio stations and television programs in order to scare our fellow Americans about Islam and Muslims and to keep Muslims in the trenches, then by all means we need to put every little bit of power we have, whether time, treasure, or talent, in these places in order to push back, and not just push back in a reactive, reactionary way, but to proactively represent who we are as a people and as a religion. A beautiful people and a beautiful religion. We do not apologize for who we are, because it's beautiful. It's just a question of representing it properly. Allowing those who understand us to speak for us. Not the ones who are on the extreme on this side or on the extreme on that side. And most of us, the majority of us, the beautiful religion, the beautiful people stuck in the middle, hearing these loud voices being lobbed above our heads in either direction. The media work is critical. Inshallah, after this khutbah has finished, I ask all of you to remain behind for just a few minutes, where I will ask for your support to keep this jihad, this struggle, this justice to our community, this empowerment, this representation moving forward. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وعليكم ترحمون. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. You know, I come to you from Chicago, but this is probably the only place that I still make time to visit. I get a lot of requests, but since I got married and had 3 little children, I've wanted to give more time, more proportionality to my own family after spending many, many times as a bachelor working around the clock. But I've made some exceptions, and this is one community, quite frankly, that I've made an exception for. And the reason is I've been very impressed by the activists in this community. And when they first asked me to come, and then asked me again, I couldn't say no. I feel that this is an extension of my own community. And when I'm here and I'm telling you the words that I'm telling you, I feel, even though I don't live here, that I'm a beneficiary of your success. Because no one lives in an island. Today, as you talk about the national issues, they're only going to be resolved on a local level. The more strength we can build locally in communities like Columbus and then multiply that in other cities, the more we'll rise together as a people in this nation. Before I conclude with dua, inshallah, I want to make a few fast announcements on behalf of this masjid. The first is that NICC annual fundraising banquet on Saturday the 16th of November at the Marriott Northwest. Details are in the ENN poster outside. Tickets are $25 an adult, purchased through kiosks and the accountant's office as well as the website. So please do patronize this event. And on Friday, October 25th, Friday night talk by Sister Dr. Asma Mubinuddin, Raising Youth in America, Improving Communication and Navigating Conflict. That's at 7 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. And then Saturday, the following day, October 26th, after Aisha, Helping Hands program, lecture by Sheikh Yasser Qadi. The following Thursday, October 31st, family game night. Details on the website. And Sunday the 3rd, 1 to 4, the Noor Business Open House. Also infos on the website. And as always, please donate to your masjid. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the strength of faith, the strength of security through knowing Him, through being qawwamina lillah, shuhada'a bil qist. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the clarity to see the values of this faith as beautiful and to live through them, to empower ourselves, our families, our community, our nation, and our world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our lives worthwhile through living this wonderful deen. We only get one shot. This is it. This one life that we have. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to focus and to make something out of it. Today, the moments that we have together may be among the most significant that we have. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to open our hearts and our intentions for His sake. Ya Allah, Allahumma aghfir lana dhunubana, Allahumma kun ma'ana wa la takun alayna, Allahumma wafiqna ila ma tuhibbahu wa tardah, Allahumma atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhab an-nar, Allahumma aghfir lil muslimina wal muslimat, al mu'minina wal mu'minat, al ahya'i minhum wal amwat, innaka sami'un mujibud da'awat. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. You have a beautiful voice, mashallah. You have a beautiful voice.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله. استقيموا واعتدلوا يرحمكم الله. Shoulder to shoulder and foot to foot. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. If I may ask your attention, if you can just remain with me, if you're able to, for just a few minutes, inshallah, this will be in your hasanat for a long time to come. As you've heard, one of the tasks that I'm here to help achieve is to help this organization that fights for justice survive and thrive on all of our behalf. So I'd like to be able to collect, if possible, support from this gathering, this assembly, of about $10,000 between us, inshallah, for the sake of God, to fight for this justice for all of these young sisters and brothers and older sisters and brothers. So I want to begin by asking if there's a brother here or a sister, and I know that I don't see all the halls, so raise your hand up. We have volunteers in every hall, including the side halls and in the back. If I can ask for support for $2,000 of your zakat money or your sadaqah, we'll begin with this amount. You can pay over a period of a year if necessary. Please do raise your hand up high if you're willing to support. We also have a card reader where we can run your credit card. As you know, these cases cost, on average, $25,000 a case. And a lot of the private attorneys don't want to take them because they're too controversial. We take them up free of charge and save our Muslims tens of thousands of dollars. Do you have a brother or sister who's willing to give $2,000, inshallah? All right, I'll move right down to $1,000. Do we have someone who's willing, inshallah, to donate $1,000 for this work? Those who are trying to keep us down are paying millions of dollars in the blogs, in the radio stations, in the TV shows to promote Islamophobia, to ensure that when someone with a Muslim name or someone with a dark skin color or the hijab applies for a job, that they're denied, that people are scared of us. We are fighting to empower and normalize our beautiful community for just pennies on the dollar compared to what they spend. Do we have a hand for 1,000, inshallah? Do we have a hand for 1,000 from anyone who's here, who's willing to support this work? We can only do this work with your support. And again, I can't see all the halls, so if there's anyone in the back hall or in the side halls who's willing to support, I ask the volunteers to bring me word of that, inshallah. All right, I'm going to shift down to $500, and inshallah we can get a few hands for this amount. Can we get, inshallah, support for $500 for this work? This is absolutely, inshallah, with the right intention, doable over a period of a year if necessary. It might amount to the same amount of money that we pay per day for coffee, or even less. Do we have a hand, inshallah, who's willing with the right intention to give this money for the sake of defending justice for our young girls, for our young boys, for our community members, to build power in the media, in the halls of power in DC and Columbus? Do we have somebody who's willing to donate $500, inshallah? We just need one hand to break this ice, and many will follow, inshallah. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. Alhamdulillah, we have a brother with the first hand. Do we have a second? Maybe we can get 4 or 5 hands for this amount, inshallah. Do we have a second hand for 500? I know that people are busy and they have places to go. I don't want to keep you too long. But again, we can't go anywhere without you. And we need to move forward. This is the direction that we need to move in. Do we have another hand for 500, inshallah? All right, I'll give it another minute. If we have another brother, surely we can get 2 out of this wonderful gathering for 500, inshallah. Do we have a second hand for 500? All right, we'll ask for 250. If we have anyone here who's willing to donate 250, inshallah. I see everybody's either praying sunnah or preparing to leave. MashaAllah, we have a brother, Jazakumullah khair, with the hat. Jazakumullah khair. Do we have a second hand for 250, inshallah? If you've been given the opportunity, if you've been selected by God to hear this message, I ask that you respond to it with any amount that you can, inshallah. Do we have a second hand for 250? Okay. I'll close with the amount of 100. If we have anybody here who's willing to donate $100, we can add it up, inshallah. If you're willing to do so, please raise your hand and we'll send you an envelope. Jazakumullah khair. We have a brother in the back. If our volunteer can head towards the back, we have a brother who's willing to donate 100. Oh, that's 500? Oh, mashallah. Jazakumullah khair. He just took care of 5 people for us, alhamdulillah. As you can tell, fundraising is not my thing, but we need to do what we need to do. Do we have a second hand, inshallah, or now a 6th hand for 100? It'd be nice if we can close the 1,000, inshallah. Do we have more hands for 100? I'll save you all the trouble and myself the trouble and just ask you if you're willing to give any amount that you can to please pick up an envelope, fill it out, and give it to our volunteers or to the care boxes outside. Any amount that you can give is not too small. It all adds up. Make the right intention, inshallah, and support our work. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum. We have a brother, inshallah, before the second khutbah, because after the second khutbah, you will have a fundraising. So we have Brother Justin here. He's gonna accept Islam. So please come forward. And this is Allah's gift to us, inshallah, today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, inshallah, he's gonna take Shahada right now. And alhamdulillah, as I told you before, every time we have Shahada, we have a celebration. And for him, you are going to be like a newborn baby today. No sins. And, please pray for us, inshallah, and for the whole community. Everybody here is going to be happy for you. So are you ready? Yes. You know that Allah is one, and He has no partners. And Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and Jesus the messenger of Allah. You know all that, right? Yes. So you are ready? Absolutely. Okay, we're going to do it very simple. Okay, in Arabic first, say, Ashhadu.
أشهد
أن لا
لا
إله
إله
إلا
إلا
الله وأن محمدا رسول الله. I testify that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Takbir! 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 Congratulations. Give me a hug. First hug. Get ready. You will have a lot of hugs today. Brother, jazakumullahu khairan.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله
حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا واشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد عبده ورسوله أما بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا أعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in our holy book, O ye who believe, stand steadfast, stand strong with God. And do not let the hatred of a people cause you to do away with justice. Be just. That is closer to righteousness. He begins by addressing us through a contract. O you who believe. This message is not for everyone. This message is for those who believe. So I want to emphasize what Iman really means for us. It isn't about knowledge. It isn't about opinion. It isn't about suggestion. It isn't about probability. It's about 100% trust in something. So the key word here is trust. Because many a time we mistranslate Iman and we say Iman means the belief in one God, the belief in God. It isn't the belief in one God. That's not what Iman means. It's the trust in one God, which of course implies belief. You can't trust in something that you don't believe in. But just to believe that God exists is not enough. Because you know who else believed that God exists and believes that God exists? Iblis, the devil. The devil believes that God exists. The devil knows that God exists. Is the devil a mu'min? Does the devil have Iman? As a matter of fact, the devil is the devil precisely because he lacked trust in God. So it is about trust. And that's why we say, my Iman is strong or my Iman is weak. If it's a question of belief, you either believe or you don't. It's a yes or no question. It can't be strong or weak. But if it's a question of trust, that explains why it could be strong or weak. I trust a lot. My trust has diminished. And you work on increasing your trust so that you trust without doubt more and more. When you trust 100%, you follow. If I tell you that this roof is going to crumble on our heads in 5 minutes, you're going to look up and you're going to assess my statement. Pretend I just told you that right now. You're going to say it's very unlikely. Maybe this guy's playing a game. Maybe this guy's a liar. Maybe this guy's nuts or something. And most of you are not going to get up and leave because you don't trust in what I'm saying. If for some reason you did, then you might worry. You might consider getting up. Now, if you trusted 100% for whatever reason, you will get up and go. There's no question about it. If you trusted 100%, perhaps there was an earthquake, perhaps you heard a rumble, perhaps things started cracking. If you trusted 100% that this ceiling is coming down on our heads, God forbid, you're going to get up and leave. You're going to take action. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses us through this trust relationship. O you who trust in me, follow 100% what I'm about to tell you, like everything else. That justice is written upon you. Justice is written by God upon himself, the creator of mankind, the master of the universe, who needs no limitations, has set a limitation upon himself to never be unjust, to never be unjust to any of his creation, whether it is inanimate like the sun or the moon. Each is in its cycle exactly according to a just system, or to the created, the living. And so imagine ourselves, the creatures of God. If God himself, the creator, has limited himself to justice, has contained justice in his system, how can we eliminate justice from ours when we're ordered to abide by this justice? Stand firmly with God. What does that mean? It means to stand in the values of God. And what are the values of God? Anything that is good emanates from God. A child can tell you, can list to you what is good. Is kindness or cruelty good? Kindness. Is telling the truth or lying good? Telling the truth. Is compassion and empathy or apathy good? What makes a human feel better when they receive one or the other? It's compassion and empathy. What is good comes from God. To stand with God is to stand with those values, to make those values part of our lives, a center part of our lives. And again, it's not a question of knowledge, because a young child by the age of 9 or 8 or even younger has already acquired sufficient basic knowledge of what is right and wrong. And by the way, sin is not the result of ignorance, as many claim. I don't think that a murderer didn't know. I didn't know that it was wrong. Or a rapist didn't know that it was wrong. Or someone who cheats on their taxes or cheats their customers or embezzles money didn't know that it was wrong. It's not a question of lacking knowledge about what is right and wrong. Like I said, even a child can probably tell you for the most part right from wrong. So why do we commit sin? It isn't lack of knowledge of what is right and wrong. It is one of 3 other problems. One is distraction. We know what is right and what is wrong, but we're distracted from what is right. The second is temptation. We know what is right and what is wrong, but we have a strong temptation to do something that we couldn't resist, and so we do it. And the third is simply not fearing the consequences. The third is rebellion. Out of anger, out of hurt, out of need, out of simply not caring. And so with the Quran, it's not just a question of telling us what is right and wrong, because that is pretty clear, but reminding us of what is right and wrong. It is a tazkirah. It is a reminder of what is right and wrong. Because as humans, as insan, we forget and we're forgotten. We know what is right, but we forget by distraction. We forget by temptation. We forget by rebellion. So the Quran always reminds you again and again. And some who don't understand the wisdom of the Quran question why it is acquired in this way. It doesn't make any sense, they say. It doesn't have a clear start, a middle, and an end. Well, a story might, but the Quran is not a story. A novel might. The Quran is not a novel. The Quran is created for you. So just like you're wired, the Quran will be wired accordingly. Just as a human who forgets and is forgotten, the Quran is the reminder, the tadhkirah. It is the antidote to our problems. And so just as the stream of thoughts are all over the place, the Quran dealing with them will be from different places as well. So that whenever you read it, time and time again, something new is brought at the level of your need. That's why the Quran is a miracle from God, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we're told to trust in God, and we're given this Quran as a guide to build that trust, to remind us against our own sinful nature, and to always push us towards the values to stand with Allah, qawwamina lillah, through the values of compassion, love, care, kindness, building, not destroying, giving, not taking, etc., and justice. And with justice, it is important to emphasize what it really means in Islam. It is not just justice in the courthouse. It's not just justice with the judge and the jury and the prosecutor and a verdict. It's not just justice in the political system with, revolution against tyranny. These are the forms of justice that most of us, let's work for justice. That's part of it. But justice is a system that permeates all things in Islam. And it has 3 different Arabic words that capture this larger-than-life meaning. The first is qist, the second is mizan, and the third is adl, the one that we normally use. But don't forget qist and mizan. Let's begin with qist, giving everything its due proportionality. Qist means proportion. And you'll find it in the Quran, in the ayah that I mentioned. To give everything its due proportion is one of the forms of justice. إِنَّ لِبَدَنِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقٍّ إِنَّ لِجَسَدِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقٍّ لِرَوْحِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقٍّ لِأَبَوَيْكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقٍّ. You have a right upon you. Your body has a right upon you. Your soul has a right upon you. Your parents have a right upon you. Your children have rights upon you. Your wife has a right, or your husband has a right upon you. Your community, your environment. And to give everyone, everything its due right is a form of justice. But it's not enough to do that. We then have to balance between them. Because if I give, let's say, the due rights to my soul through prayer and dhikr, and that's all I do, common sense would dictate, well, that's good enough. A good thing done plenty is even better. If something is good, I do it a lot, then that's even better, right? Not in Islam. In Islam, moderation and balance is what's better, not just more of something. There were 2 brothers that came to the Prophet ﷺ. One who prayed all day. Prayer is wonderful, right? In the masjid, essentially lived there worshiping. And the other would go to the masjid and pray on time and add the nawafil. But when it was time for work, he'd be at work. When it was time for the family, he would be with the family. And the Prophet ﷺ said the latter is more just, because of that balance between things. God doesn't need us. We need God. And God instructed us to have that balance in our lives. So who are we to try to outwit or become more righteous than what we are given? This tradition of monkhood doesn't exist in Islam. That's why you won't find monks in Islam, those religious people that live day and night in a monastery. You might find that in Catholicism, in Hinduism, in Buddhism, but not in Islam. Because in Islam, our way of life is the everyday way of life. It's out there in the communities. This is where piety is found. It's not just in the masjid. That's part of it. That's where you charge your battery. But when you charge that battery, you got to do something with that gadget. It's not just for sticking into the power supply. When it's charged, it goes out and it changes things. It makes things better in the communities, in the everyday life, in the streets, in the schools, in the hospitals, in the courthouses, in the media, in journalism, in the sports world. We bring those values to build life in this way. In every space, we're still Muslim. Every space, we're still just. As a justice worker, as a civil rights activist who works for CARE, my work for justice doesn't end when I leave the office. That is what we do for a living But as a Muslim, it continues. As I go to the gym, I feel I'm still working for justice. In this case, giving my body its due rights. As we mentioned, proportion. Qist is a form of justice, in this case to the body. Going to the gym, not for vanity's purpose, not to build pecs and look good in the mirror, but for the sake of respecting and caring and protecting my health that God has given me as a gift. And eating right and sleeping right, all of those things for a Muslim is a way of justice to your body. When I pray, when I do dhikr, when I do istighfar, when I do tawbah, it's a form of justice for my soul. And mind you, the greatest form of injustice is injustice against the soul. And you see in the Quran, it mentions many times, ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسِهِمْ, they were unjust to themselves. What does that mean? If justice is simply something in the courthouses and the courts of kings, then what does injustice to the self mean? Well, precisely what I've been talking about, that your soul has a right upon you. And what is more unjust than to condemn your soul by your own hand to eternity in darkness and agony and pain in the hellfire? When you have an opportunity clearly open before you to help this soul be guided into eternity and bliss and happiness and light in heaven, is that then not unfair and unjust to my own soul to deny it this fate versus that through tweaking my actions and my words and my habits? Justice continues. Balance between things. The mizan is important. And finally, adl, in the way of God. Adl means the direction. Because I could be equal to everybody here, but equally bad to everybody here. If I'm equally bad to everybody here, am I just? Well, in the traditional sense, I'm being equitable, so that's just. But in the Muslim sense, I'm not in the way of God, because cruelty is not in the way of God. So the direction matters. One of the reasons why I'm here today is to seek the support of this community for one form of justice, community justice, political justice, legal justice, that is affecting our daughters, our sons, our wives, our husbands, our communities, as Muslims living in America. And I feel that by us standing together to support, we can't all be civil rights activists. We can't all be in the courthouses. We can't all be in the media fighting against the misrepresentation of Islam and Muslims. We can't all be in the halls of power in Columbus and DC talking to members of Congress and the Senate and trying to let them understand the issues that matter to Muslims and to budge them away from Islamophobia and Islamophobes. We can't all be doing this stuff. Not because we lack the ability necessarily, but because even if we have the ability, we may lack the time. But there are those who have the ability and the training and the talent and have the time because of you and your support, who need to be empowered to continue to do the work that we don't have either the ability or the time to do. Every community in this country needs a backbone. History tells us and reminds us that sure, as Americans, you have rights. But your rights in America are only as strong as your ability to fight for them and defend them. You don't have that ability, you don't have rights. That's the history of America. If you are not attuned to this reality, we're in for a nasty surprise. We don't want to be that community. We want to learn from history and be prepared. And we're building strength and we're building power for our own community to protect our sons and daughters from injustice. If we have that ability and we shirk it, then we are contributing to the injustice. We are as bad as those who are discriminating and bullying our own children if we don't do what's necessary to stand up and protect and defend. And it's not much that is needed. If we have those young men and women working in the courthouses, working in the halls of power in DC and in Columbus, in the state capitals and the national capitals, and in the media, all we need to do is to support more and more of this work. We are talking about lawyers who are able to take cases of discrimination, whether housing or employment or airport or FBI or ICE, against Muslims just because they say La ilaha illallah. They're targeted. And these well-trained attorneys are able to take their cases free of charge. And these cases cost $25,000 on average, and they're doing it free of charge. And many private attorneys are afraid to even touch these cases. And these poor victims of injustice have to run around knocking on doors and being told we can't help you. This is too controversial. But they come to Care Columbus specifically, and I want to be very specific here. We're talking specifically about your office in Columbus. That's what we're seeking support for 100%, and that's where all of the support will go. And everything I'm talking about is the work that's being done here by those young men and women in that office, including the 16 Muslims whom last year I mentioned to you had been fired for praying on their break, something they have a right to do. Some people take their break to smoke, to listen to some music in their headphones. These 16 Muslims decided to take it to connect with Allah. And what happened as a result? They were fired unceremoniously from their daily bread, their source of income and survival. Unjust, unfair. Are we going to look the other way and walk out? Are we going to let that happen? CARE stepped in and fought all the way, alhamdulillah, to full justice, where the judge sided with us and vindicated those 16 Muslims. And if you were to read his 33-page opinion, as he talked about the salah, it was as if he was a judge from Al-Azhar, because of the strong arguments and the education that was given by our Muslim attorneys from CARE Columbus. And you have these Muslims who are coming into America who are denied entry or put through removals, denied green cards, denied citizenship applications, denied work authorizations, simply because their name is too Muslim, or their appearance is too Muslim, or they have in their background some affiliation with a mosque or some Muslim organization. Unjust and unfair. They have committed no crimes, they have broken no laws. Do we let that happen, or do we fight back? Alhamdulillah, CARE Columbus fought back, and over 50 individuals who were denied these rights were given these citizenship and naturalization rights as a result of fighting back directly. Just last month, now you shift to politics from the legal work. You had young men and women from CARE Columbus who were there in the DC offices of these congressmen and women and senators. And in the spring, they were here in Capitol Hill with their Muslim Action Day. And they were meeting with dozens and dozens of these elected officials who, by the way, had it not been for that single office here, would never have met or listened to any Muslims. They might, though, have had the time to listen to Islamophobes who also put in the effort to knock on their door and say, let me tell you about Islam and its danger. Let me tell you about Sharia law and its danger to take over America. Let me tell you about these Muslims in that mosque who meet and they talk about jihad to take over America and this and that. Misrepresenting one of our beautiful concepts, jihad, a struggle to get to a better place, not to hurt anybody. Jihad really means, it's a word I'm proud of. I'll never allow anyone to steal that word away from me. Jihad means struggle to get to a better place. Whether Muslim extremists or anti-Muslim Islamophobes both don't know what my religion means, I do. I will stand up and my voice will be louder than both sides. And I'll deliver the truth to the world. And so will you. It is not just my role as a CARE official. It's my role as a Muslim and as someone who stands with God. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu kunu qawwamina lillah. Oh, those who trust in God and believe in God, stand firmly with God. That's what we're asking you to do today after this khutbah. For a few minutes, to not leave. I know everybody's in a rush. People have things to do. But for just a few minutes, it might replenish your soul. I know it might hurt your pocket a little bit. But it might replenish your soul that you're doing something about this. You're part of this. It doesn't matter what amount you give. It matters that we stand together with God and with our community and with justice to fight for what is right. And finally, we mentioned the legal work that is done and its cost and its importance for justice. We mentioned the political work that is done and it's important for our laws and our fate. You know, we stopped every CARE Columbus, stopped every single anti-Sharia bill from being law. Now, these are laws that could deny you the right to bury your dead a certain way, to get married a certain way, in the name of protecting the Constitution. We were able to stop the pathetic nature of these anti-Muslim campaigns. CARE Columbus stopped every single one. The third and last is the media. We know that the media matters because that's where the minds and opinions of everyday Americans are shaped. And again, there are those who are investing millions of dollars in order to scaremonger and fearmonger your neighbors and your co-workers and average Americans from their fellow equally average Americans who happen to be Muslim. And again, it's up to us to either sit on the sidelines and look at this and shake our heads and shrug our shoulders and say, astaghfirullah, subhanallah, this is really bad, and complain to each other, or to get up and do something about it. To put Muslims in these spaces, to ensure that any table in which opinions are shaped about Islam and Muslims, that a knowledgeable, capable, eloquent Muslim is sitting at that table. Whether it's on television, in the editorial rooms of newspapers, or on the radio airwaves. And that's what this institution does. That's what Brother Roman Iqbal and his team are doing on a daily basis. They're building power through media, legal work, and political work to stand up for justice and to empower our sons and daughters. This young woman who was just disqualified from a race here in Toledo, Ohio, simply for wearing a hijab. No different than any other child. She ran the race, and at the end she's looking for her name to see her time. Doesn't exist. She's been wiped out, erased. Why was I erased? I ran like everybody else. Oh, you have a hijab. That's why you were erased. Who's going to sit for that? This could have been your daughter, your sister. She's a client of Care Columbus, and I make this promise to you, inshallah. We will change the laws. The only reason why this happens is because there's a law somewhere that says if you wear the hijab, you can't. We're going to change that law. We're going to fight until this happens, inshallah. And that's what every case is for us. It's about fighting all the way to justice. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله. استغفر الله العظيم. Please make dua that Allah accepts our work and make istighfar and tawbah. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفر اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. This is a beautiful, strong community, and it is up to us to convey that to the world. We have to empower ourselves to do our own work. No one's going to do it for us. We have begun, and we need your support. And the results are clear, and they can only get better. Before we shift, inshallah, to the salah, I want to remind you that if you can not hustle out as soon as it's done, but remain for just a few moments and help us gather that support for this work. Inshallah, it will be in the Mizan al-Hasanat. And finally, just a few announcements from the masjid before we do Iqamah. The NICC annual fundraising banquet is on Saturday, the 16th of November at Marriott Northwest. Details are in the poster outside. Tickets are $25 for an adult. You can also see details on the website. And Friday, October 25th, the Friday night talk by Sister Dr. Asma Mubinuddin, Raising Youth in America, Improving Communication and Navigating Conflict, is at 7 p.m. The next day, Saturday, October 26th, after Aisha Helping Hand program with Sheikh Yasser Qadi. Thursday, October 31st, Family Game Night. Details on the website. And Sunday, November 3rd, from 1 to 4, Noor Business Open House. Info is also on the website. And please always remember to donate to your masjid. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to empower us with trust in Him. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to empower us with faith, but with confidence in ourselves and love for our deen and those who follow it, to stand up and protect it and defend its image and its reality. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us stay on the path of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, our prophet, and to live in his sunnah and his example. يا الله اللهم كن معنا ولا تكن علينا اللهم وفقنا إلى ما تحبه وترضاه اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات المؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع مجيب الدعوات وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا واعتدلوا يرحمكم الله. Shoulder to shoulder and foot to foot. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Dear brothers and sisters, if you can remain for just a few minutes, if you're able to, I want to get straight to it. I know everybody's busy, but this work that we're doing, as I mentioned, cannot do itself. So I want to begin by asking, I want to say 2,000, but I'll say 1,000. And if somebody wants to give 2, just raise 2 fingers and surprise us, inshallah. But do we have a brother or a sister who's willing to support this work for $1,000, inshallah, or 2? Please raise your hand up high. We have volunteers in the hall here. These are people, like I said, who are devoted 100% of the time to assist our Muslim clients with the acts of discrimination. If they're met with the FBI in their homes and harassed, if they're denied housing or employment, if they're fired for being Muslim, if they're held at the airports, if this happens to you or any of your loved ones, you have an organization, an institution that defends you daily. Do we have a hand for 1,000, inshallah? Please raise your hand up high. Let's break that ice and others will follow suit. We mentioned, brothers and sisters, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded that we stand with Him. And that is precisely what this institution at its heart is doing. Qawamina lillah, to stand in the way of God, in the way of His justice system. Justice will not write itself. We need to write it into the history books of this country for our community members. Do we have a hand for 1,000, inshallah? It's not a lot. We have a brother in the front for 2,000, mashallah. Takbir. Mashallah, brother. You've broken the ice. You've shattered it. Jazakumullah khair. Do we have a second hand for 1,000, inshallah? If you're thinking about it, I want to give you that little nudge because it will make a difference in the lives of so many. You might feel it, but you might, inshallah, with the grace of God, not feel it too much. But those who receive justice as a result of your contribution, it will change their lives and it will reflect on you. Money given in the way of God is not money lost. It's money saved. Money kept with us, we don't know where it goes eventually. Do we have a second hand for 1,000, inshallah? A second hand for one, you can pay it over a period of time. We have a brother here with a card reader. We can run your credit card immediately for any amount that you decide. Do we have a second hand for 1,000? I know that those who are fighting us are investing a lot more than this, and it's up to us to stand up and fight back. Do we have a second hand for 1,000? Time is not on our side. We do have a second hand. MashaAllah. Takbir. Maybe we can get to a couple more. Do we have another brother or sister in the back? And I know there are rooms on the sides. We have volunteers in your rooms. Just raise your hand and they'll find you. Do we have a third hand, inshallah, for 1,000? At this point, it would be a fourth hand. Since we have a brother here, mashallah, who gave 2. Do we have a fourth hand for 1,000? We do, mashallah. Takbir. We have a hand right here. And let's close the 1,000s with a fifth hand, inshallah. Mashallah. Takbir. Well, now that we have the fifth, I'm going to jump to the sixth. If we can get it. If not, we'll move right forward. Do we have another hand? Again, usually I'm a very shy person, but when it comes to the work of the community, I have to kill my ego. Embarrass myself if necessary. This is for the sake of the work that we do. It is not personal. And I don't take it personally if you don't heed my call either. So don't worry. Do we have a sixth hand for 1,000, inshallah? Do we have a sixth hand for $1,000? Inshallah, we can get to 10,000 in this wonderful gathering. Do we have a sixth hand for 1,000? If you're thinking about it, again, you can break the money up and it will make a big difference in the lives of those whom we help. This young girl, just put yourself in her place. She's being told that she's different just because she made the decision to observe what she believes are God's commandments. We cannot allow a society to tell our children that they have to relinquish their identities in order to be accepted. That's what we're fighting for, the ability to be who we are and not pay a price. Is that too much to ask support for? Do we have a sixth hand for 1,000, inshallah? MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. I can jump right to 500 and inshallah we can get to the 10,000 that way. Do we have a few hands for $500? MashaAllah. We have a hand in the front, Roman, right here. Do we have a second hand for 500? A second hand for 500? Roman, we have a hand here for 500. Do we have a second hand for 500, inshallah? A second hand for 500? MashaAllah, we have a hand right here. Do we have, we need 3 more hands for 500. Or is it 4? 4. Because we're at 7 right now. Do we have, inshallah, somebody who can give 1,000 and we can move along faster, or maybe 4 hands for 500? It's not a huge amount of money for the sake of God and for doing your part. Inshallah, you will see the value of giving as long as the intention is for God, not for me, not for the audience, but for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will see that blessing in your lives very, very quickly. So it's an investment for what is right. You will have done your part for the year, and you'll get blessings for it in ways that you can't imagine. Do we have, inshallah, another hand for 500? Another hand for the amount of $500. You can pay it over a period of time. Go another minute for 500, inshallah. Okay, I'm going to ask for 250. If anyone is willing to support us in the amount of $250, please raise your hand up high, and the volunteers will find you, inshallah. Do we have $250, inshallah? 250? Again, the side rooms, the sisters in the back, you can also raise your hand and somebody will find you. All right, I'm going to ask for an amount of 100. If we can get some hands up, they can pass you the envelopes. And if for any reason you prefer to give privately, we respect that. You're welcome to, mashallah, we have a brother here for 100 in the back here. Just keep your hand up and they'll find you, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. If you're willing to support in any amount privately, please grab an envelope and fill it out and give it to our wonderful volunteers who are walking around. I apologize if I was a bit insolent and took too much of your time. Please understand that this is necessary for us to do the work. And may Allah accept from us. Jazakumullah khair for your patience. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. واشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا أعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد في القرآن الكريم بيذكرنا بنقطة هامة جدا في الدين الإسلامي، ألا وهو العدل. وبيبدأ سبحانه وتعالى الطريقة اللي بيخاطبنا بيها كبشر، مش أي حد، ليس أي حد. الذين آمنوا، بوجه الكلام للذين آمنوا. من هم الذين آمنوا؟ يعني إيه إيمان أصلا؟ الإيمان ليس فقط الاعتقاد بأن الله موجود، أنا أعتقد أو أنا أعلم أو أنا أجزم أن الله موجود. لا، هو الثقة في الله سبحانه وتعالى، أن نثق أن الله سبحانه وتعالى دائما وأبدا سيوفي بعهده. هذه الثقة هي الإيمان بالله سبحانه وتعالى. وإلا كان إبليس ذاته مؤمن. هل إحنا بنقول على إبليس إنه مؤمن؟ إبليس يعتقد، يجزم أن الله موجود. هو عمره ما قال إن ربنا مش موجود. لكن مش من العقل أو من الدين إن إحنا نقول إن إبليس مؤمن. لأن إبليس الشيء اللي يفتقده ليس العلم بوجود ربنا سبحانه وتعالى أو وحدانية ربنا سبحانه وتعالى، بل كان يفتقد الثقة في أمر الله. وكان بيعتبر إن هو شايف الدنيا أو شايف نفسه بطريقة أوضح من ربنا سبحانه وتعالى اللي خلقه. فإذا فقدان الثقة هو أشبه بالكفر. وما هو الكفر؟ الكفر هو غشاء، نغطي شيء. حتى بنقول بالمصري كرة كفر على كرة القدم، على أساس إن هي مغطاة بالجلد. فالكفر هو أن نغطي شيء. ما هو الشيء اللي بنغطيه بالكفر؟ آيات الله سبحانه وتعالى. أما تكون الآيات واضحة في حياتنا، في الكون اللي حوالينا، آيات القرآن أو آيات الكون، كلاهما يسمى بآيات. الآيات اللي فينا إحنا كجسد وكروح كبني آدم كلها بتدل على أن ربنا سبحانه وتعالى موجود. أما بننفي هذه الآيات وبننكر وجود ربنا سبحانه وتعالى وبنفتقد أو بنجزم أنه موجود ونفقد الثقة، هنا بيكون الكفر، بنغطي الواقع الحق. فربنا سبحانه وتعالى بيخاطبنا من خلال الذين يثقون في الله سبحانه وتعالى، الذين يثقون في الله وفي كلمة ربنا سبحانه وتعالى، ويقول لنا كونوا قوامين لله، يعني أن نقف مع الله سبحانه وتعالى. ما معنى أن نقف مع الله سبحانه وتعالى؟ أن نقف بقوة، قوامين لله. ربنا سبحانه وتعالى وضع لنا ناموس، قانون في حياتنا. القانون ده والناموس دوت جواه أشياء أصلية هامة جدا، يعني عمود فقري. أولها العدل، وكتب الله على نفسه العدل، الله سبحانه وتعالى. لو ربنا سبحانه وتعالى الخالق البارئ اللي ممكن يعمل أي شيء يريده، كتب على نفسه العدل، إن هو لا يتعامل مع أي مخلوق إلا بالعدل، سواء كان مخلوق حي أو مخلوق غير حي مثل الشمس أو القمر، كل في فلك يسبحون. بالعدل، بالمقدار، بالميزان، بالقسط. كذلك نحن كبشر في حياتنا كتب العدل، إنه يعاملنا بالعدل في الدنيا وفي الآخرة. ما بالك المخلوق المسير، أما ربنا يأمره بالعدل، هل له أن يقول لا؟ هل له أن يضرب بعرض الحائط والعدل ده ما يهمنيش في شيء؟ وربنا سبحانه وتعالى الخالق البارئ نفسه ذاته كتب على نفسه العدل. كونوا قوامين لله، أن نقف مع الله سبحانه وتعالى بقوة، أن نقف مع القيم الربانية، ومنها ومن أولها العدل. وهنا يجب أن نقف لحظة ونتذكر أن العدل كما قلت بيوصف في القرآن بثلاث كلمات: العدل أحدهم، ولكن أيضا القسط والميزان. وما الفرق بين الثلاثة؟ القسط هو أن تعطي كل ذي حق حقه. القسط proportion أو الكمية اللي تعطيها لشيء واحد. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن لربك عليك حق، إن لنفسك عليك حق، إن لبدنك عليك حق، إن لأهلك عليك حق، فأعطي كل ذي حق حقه. النهاردة أبويا وأمي عليهم حق، ليهم حق عليا. زوجتي أو زوجك لهم حق علينا. أولادنا لهم حق علينا. الجيران، الكوميونتي أو المجتمع نفسه له حق علينا. البيئة اللي ربنا خلقها لنا لها حق علينا. جسدي، بدني له حق عليا، نفسي لها حق عليا. اعطي كل ذي حق حقه. طب يعني ايه؟ انا ما بروح النهارده واتمرن رياضيا، دي نوع من انواع العدل في الاسلام. كيف؟ ما هو لو بدني له حق عليا، لو جسدي له حق عليا، ان احافظ على هذا الجسد، على هذا البدن، بالتمرين الرياضي، بالاكل المضبوط، بالنوم في الكميات المضبوطة. كل هذا عدل لهذا الجسد، أن أحافظ عليه وأحسن منه. وهذا حمد لله سبحانه وتعالى. وأفضل وسيلة، أفضل طريقة للحمد هي أن نحافظ على الشيء بنية الحمد لله سبحانه وتعالى. وأيضا لما أنا بتمرن رياضيا، النية تفرق. هل أنا بتمرن عشان أبقى شكلي في المراية قوي ومهم، ولا بتمرن عشان أحافظ على هذا الشيء؟ إذن فهناك طريقة إن يكون وقت الجيم اللي أنت بتروحه أو اللي أنت بتروحيه يكون من العدالة، من العدل اللي ربنا سبحانه وتعالى هيجازينا عليها. إن لنفسك عليك حق. النفس لو كان العدالة محصورة على القاضي والمحامي والقضية والحكم في المحكمة، ما كانش في القرآن سمعنا حاجة اسمها ظلم النفس. عشان ظلم النفس ده ولا داخل فيه قاضي ولا محكمة ولا قضية. طب ظلم النفس اللي هو ايه؟ وده أبشع أنواع الظلم وأكثرها، يعني أكثر أنواع الظلم اللي موجودة في الدنيا دي ظلم النفس، أن تظلم نفسك بنفسك. النهاردة ربنا سبحانه وتعالى خلقنا ووضعنا في هذه الدنيا، وأعطى لنا أحد طريقين: طريق إلى الظلام والظلم، إلى جهنم وبئس المصير، إلى العذاب مدى الخلود، وطريق إلى الجنة والنور خلود أيضا. طب إن أنا أختار بإيدي هذا الطريق المظلم، العذاب لنفسي في خلود، وأن أترك هذا الطريق النور وطريق يعني ربنا سبحانه وتعالى يبارك لنا في الآخرة الجنة، هل أليس ذلك بظلم النفس؟ ونختار ذاك بيدي، إن أمنع نفسي من الصلاة، إن أشرب الخمر، إن أزني، إن أعمل أشياء، إن أغش، إن أسرق، إن أقتل، إني بيدي. هذا ظلم النفس. ممكن نظلم بدننا أو نعدل لبدننا لجسدنا، وممكن نظلم نفسنا، وهذا أبشع أنواع الظلم، أو نعدل لنفسنا. فعندما نصلي، عندما نتزكى، عندما نصوم، عندما نتعبد، عندما نعامل الناس معاملة حسنة، لأن ليس فقط الموضوع عبادات، المعاملات في نفس الأهمية إن لم تكن أهم، لأنها أيضا لوجه الله وأيضا نوع من العبادات. أن أفعل كل ذلك بنية لوجه الله سبحانه وتعالى، أن أتقرب من الله سبحانه وتعالى، أن أقف، أن أكون من القوامين لله سبحانه وتعالى، كل هذا عدل للنفس. وأيضا كيف أعامل والدتي والدتي، كيف أعامل زوجتي وابني، هكذا. طيب هذا القسط. طب ما هو الميزان؟ الميزان أن أعدل بين الأشياء، أن أزن بينهم. لأن يعني ممكن من المفترض أن أكون من الناس اللي مركزة في شيء واحد وتركت الأشياء الأخرى. أكون الشخص اللي مهتم ببدني قوي لكن ناسي نفسي وصلاتي وروحانياتي. أو أكون من الشخص المجتهد في المدرسة وبذاكر وممتاز وأهلي مبسوطين مني والمدرسين وكل شيء تمام، لكن لا أهتم بجسدي وما أكل وكمية نومي والرياضة. أو أكون شخص بيصلي وبيصوم وكذا وكذا، لكن ما عندوش وقت لأسرته، لزوجته، وبتشتكي منه وعياله مش شايفينه وأمه مش لاقياه. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يعني أتى له أخين، أحدهم بيصلي طول الوقت في المسجد، والتاني كان بيصلي وقت الصلاة والنوافل كمان بيزودها، ولكن في الأوقات الأخرى بيعمل في عمله أو في المجتمع بتاعه، بيتعامل اجتماعيا مع أفراد المجتمع اللي عنده. فالرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أوصى بأن الثاني هو أقرب للدين وهو أعدل بين الاثنين. لأن في ديننا الإسلامي ما فيش فكرة الكهنوت، فكرة ان الشخص اللي مكرس حياته داخل مبنى ليتقرب من الله سبحانه وتعالى، لأن الله سبحانه وتعالى ليس موجودا فقط في داخل المسجد بل في كل مكان. والمسلم حياته بتمثل في كل مكان تبعا لسنة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، اللي هو لم يقتصر مثل الكهنوت في مكان معين. هذا من طقوس الدين الكاثوليكي البوذي الهندوسي، لكن في الإسلام الحياة لكي تكون مسلما حقا وتمارس كامل أنواع الدين لابد أن تكون في المجتمع كزوج، كأب، كابن، كأخ، كجار، كجندي، كعامل، كمدرس، كمتطوع. يعني كلما كنت في الحياة، كلما كنت في المجتمع، كلما كان لك الفرصة أن تلمس جميع أنحاء الدين. والرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كان كل الأشياء دي، كان مزارع وكان راعي غنم وكان مجاهد وكان أب وكان ابن وكان زوج وكان رئيس جالية وكان ستيتسمان أو يعني رجل دولة وكل الأشياء هذا. فسنتنا في محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم أن نحيا في كل أنحاء الحياة، ليس أن يعني نستخبى منها أو نكون في ركن من ما، لا، بل أن تكون في طريق إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى. وهذا الشيء الثالث، العدل. العدل يعني في أي اتجاه نكون، والعدل الطريق المستقيم إلى الله، هذا هو معنى العدل، أن نكون إلى الله. لأن من المفترض أن مثلا لو كان العدالة تقتصر على المساواة، فربما أن أعامل كل الناس اللي في هذه الغرفة بنفس الطريقة السيئة. هل هذا من العدالة؟ نفس الطريقة، لم أفرق بين هذا وهذا، عدالة في المفهوم اليومي للكلمة. لكن طالما الطريقة سيئة، فحتى لو فيها عدالة، لو فيها مساواة، فهي ليست في اتجاه الله سبحانه وتعالى، لأن الله سبحانه وتعالى لا يحب السيء ويحب الخير. فلا بد أن أعامل الأول بطريقة خيرة ثم يكون هناك مساواة. فالطريقة ليس فقط الكميات والتوزيع، لأن قسط نتكلم على كمية والميزان على توزيع، لكن في أي اتجاه كل هذا في اتجاه إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى، هذا هو العدل. فإذا جمعت الثلاث أفكار نفهم أن العدالة شيء موجود في كل لحظات الحياة وفي كل مكان نذهب إليه. والنهاردة أو اليوم حابب أني أركز على نوع من أنواع العدالة، وهو العدل في الحياة الاجتماعية والسياسية والقانونية والإعلامية هنا في أمريكا لصالح الجالية المسلمة في أمريكا، من خلال مؤسسة أنتم بنيتوها، مؤسسة تسمى بكير أو مجلس العلاقات الأمريكية الإسلامية، كير كولومبوس. هذه المؤسسة مؤسسة هامة لأنها من وقف من أوقاف المسلمين، بنيت لوجه الله لكي تقوم على العدل والعدالة لهذه الجالية، من خلال العمل في قاعات القانون، قاعات القوة في واشنطن وكولومبوس، أيضا في الكونغرس والسنت، وفي قنوات الإعلام اللي هي من أهم الأماكن والأهم التمركز للتأثير على النفوس. وهذه ثلاث أماكن لو احنا ما ركزناش أو ما اهتمناش بيهم لا يمكن أن يكون لنا حق، أو يعني نحافظ على حقوقنا في هذه البلد. لنا حقوق كمواطنين، ولك حق أيضا كزائر. يعني إن لم تكن مواطن وكنت على أحد الفيزات فأنت لك حق، يعني you have rights. ولكن هذه الحقوق لن تنالها إلا إذا كنت عندك القوة اللازمة أن تنالها بيدك. وهذا ما يقوله التاريخ الأمريكي، هذه ليس فكرة من أفكاري. إذا كلمت إخواننا من الجالية الأفريكان أمريكانز أو النيتيف أمريكانز اللي هم السكان الأصليين لهذه الدولة، أو غيرهم وغيرهم اللي نالوا أي قدر من الحقوق، كان لابد أن يحاربوا من أجل هذه القوانين. حتى الجالية اليهودية اللي احنا النهاردة بنتكلم عنها كثيرا على أنها لها قوة وتأثير في الإعلام والبنوك وما فيش، دي كانت جالية مضطهدة، مش من زمان، من 100 سنة فقط كانت تعتبر جالية مضطهدة. ورغم ذلك استطاعت أن هي تركز في بناء مؤسسات بنت لها قوة سياسية وقانونية، قدرت تدافع عن حقوقها وتنال هذه الحقوق. فالنهاردة أنتم بنيتوا هذا الوقف كير أو مجلس العلاقات الأمريكية الإسلامية ليعمل في هذه ثلاث أماكن. وأعطي لكم أمثلة. هناك مسلمين كثيرين يعني بيأتوا من الشرق الأوسط أو من الهند وباكستان أو من الدول الأغلبية مواطنينها مسلمين، وبيأتوا إلى أمريكا، فبيمنعوا من الدخول بحجة إنهم يعني قد يكون لهم علاقة بالإرهاب أو الأسماء في تشابه بالأسماء أو كذا أو كذا. إنما في الواقع السبب الوحيد لمنعهم هو دينهم، أنهم يعني اختاروا أن يقولوا لا إله إلا الله. فهناك من أراد أن يعاقبهم على هذا الاختيار باختصار. فهل النهاردة احنا لنا أحد اختيارين، احنا بقى بقية المسلمين، لننظر إلى الاتجاه الآخر لكن شيء لم يكن، أو أن نبني قوة وندافع عن هؤلاء لأن ما يحدث لهؤلاء يحدث إلينا. واحنا اخترنا الحمد لله أن نبني هذه المؤسسة، والحمد لله استطعنا في خلال العامين الماضيين أن ننتصر في 50 على الأقل 50 حالة من حالات الهجرة اللي كانت مسلمين كانوا داخلين ومنعوا من الدخول لكونهم مسلمين، واستطعنا ان احنا نساعدهم ان هم يدخلوا وينالوا حقوقهم كمواطنين او كجرين كارد او ككذا وكذا. كان هناك برضو قصة تانية، 16 مسلم في أحد الشركات اختاروا أن يستخدموا الفترة الوجيزة اللي بياخدوها في العمل اللي هي البريك، أن يصلوا فيها صلاة الظهر. يعني بعض الناس، بعض العاملين بيستخدموا هذه الفترة اللي يطلعوا يدخنوا السيجارة أو التليفون، هم اختاروا يصلوا. فالمدير رفدهم من العمل وأوقف عنهم لقمة عيشهم عشان اختاروا ان هم يصلوا في الوقت اللي هو المفروض وقتهم الخاص في العمل، حوالي ربع ساعة أو نص ساعة. 16 واحد. طبعا الحمد لله هم أتوا إلى كير كولومبس. كير كولومبس أخذت القضية بتاعتهم وفضلت تجاهد فيها لغاية الحمد لله ما كانت النتيجة الانتصار الكامل لهؤلاء 16. والقاضي اللي كان مقيم على القضية كتب رأي أو يعني حكم 33 صفحة. لو قرأت هذا الرأي لظننت أن هذا القاضي شيخ من شيوخ الأزهر بالطريقة اللي وصف فيها الصلاة وأهمية الصلاة عند المسلمين. طبعا ده نتيجة تعليم وتثقيف وتوعية المحامي بتاع كير كولومبس إلى هذا القاضي. يعني فكروا في لحظة لو كان ما فيش هذه المؤسسة إن لم تكن موجودة ولم يكن هناك هذا المحامي يعمل هذا العمل، ما كانت النتيجة؟ النتيجة إن كان خلاص روح بيتك، كل واحد يروح بيته، ال16 ينزلوا راسهم ويذهبوا إلى مكان آخر، واللي يجي وراهم دي بقى الشيء الأسوأ يحصل له نفس الشيء. المرة الجاية من ألبانيا، دول كانوا من الصومال، المرة الجاية من معرفش فلسطين. لا، إنما احنا وقفنا هذا الأمر وبقى فيه دلوقتي حكم إن لو حصل تاني القاضي اللي بعده على طول هيعرف إن ده ممنوع، عشان في حاجة اسمها precedent أو واقعة قانونية. تمام؟ الأخت اللي هي يعني رياضية فدخلت في المدرسة ومع بقية زملائها هي ترتدي الحجاب، مسلمة، وبتجري يعني في أحد السباقات وخلصت السباق وبتنظر الرقم بتاعها، يعني خلصت في قد إيه، في كام دقيقة، فلم تجد اسمها في القائمة. راحت تسأل أنا فين اسمي، أنا كنت أجري مع هؤلاء وخلصت السباق. لا، أنت معزولة، disqualified. لماذا عزلت؟ عشان الحجاب. يعني لمجرد ان هي اختارت ترتدي الحجاب يعني فعلت نفس الشيء اللي غيرها فعل، نفس الشيء، لكن هي حذفت من الحياة، حذفت من الوجود. طبعا ده شيء لا يرضي احد يعني. فهي الحمد لله اتت الينا، واحنا النهارده نعمل مع اسرتها ومعاها، ونعد الجالية ان شاء الله رب العالمين ان احنا لن يهدي لنا بال حتى ان نغير القوانين من جذورها في ولاية اوهايو، القوانين التي تتعامل مع الرياضيين المسلمين المحجبات أو الملتحين. ومرة أخرى هذه الأمور لن تغير من نفسها بنفسها، لابد من قوة من الخارج أن تغير هذه الأمور. أي شيء في ظلم لابد أن نقف نكون قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط. هذا ما أمر الله به لنا، أمر الله لنا به. تمام؟ فالنهاردة بعد الصلاة إن شاء الله هطلب منكم انه يعني معذرة ان تكونوا معانا بس دقائق قليلة، وان ان شاء الله نعزم الهمة مع بعض ان احنا نقف ونكون قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط، ونقف مع هذا الوقف مش عشان فرد او اخر، عشان مستقبل جالية كاملة من البنات والاولاد اللي هم يريدون ان يكونوا مسلمين واخرون يريدون لهم ان لا يكونوا مسلمين. فقدامهم اختيار، امامهم اختيار، ونحن نقول لهم لا، كونوا مسلمين كما تريدون. اللي عاوز تلبس حجاب، اللي عاوز يصلي، اللي عاوز يلتحي، اللي عاوز يعني وبفخر وبمنتهى الثقة، ونحن سنقف وراكم ونحمي حقوقكم في كل خطوة، في المحاكم، في أماكن القوة في واشنطن وكولومبس السياسية. السنة دي هذا العام كير كولومبس كان عندهم حوالي 30 مقابلة مع أعضاء الكونغرس الأمريكي في واشنطن. كل واحد من هؤلاء الأعضاء إن لم يكن يعني لولا مقابلتهم مع كير كولومبس ما كانوش قابلوا مسلمين ولا سمعوا من مسلمين، كانوا قابلوا غير مسلمين، وأحيانا ناس مضادة للإسلام، إسلاموفوبس، وكانوا سمموا رأيهم من الإسلام والمسلمين. ولكن الآن بقى عندهم الفرصة أن يسمعوا مننا احنا بوضوح ما هو الإسلام، ما هي الجالية المسلمة، وما هي الأمور اللي بتشغل حياتنا، وإزاي ممكن يساعدونا من خلال العمل السياسي. وأيضا ثالثا وأخيرا الإعلام. كما ذكرت من قبل، الإعلام من أهم يعني التمركزات اللي بتأثر في نفوس الناس، سواء كانوا بمزاجهم أو بغير مزاجهم. يعني هذا أمر سيكولوجي. الناس بتتفرج على التلفزيون، أحيانا بتكون على الكمبيوتر أو بتاكل وبتسمع، وكل اللي بيخش بيفضل في عقولهم. فعمالين في ناس بتصرف ملايين الدولارات عشان تطلع ناس تطلع تقول لهم الإسلام خطر، المسلمين خطر، هذا إرهاب، هذا الجهاد، هذا الشريعة، وأصبحت كلمات يخاف منها الناس. ونحن هنا موجودون، وفي مننا ناس مشغولة بحياتها، وأنا لا ألوم أحد. يعني الدكتور المحترم، المهندس المحترم، المحامي المحترم، صاحب الشركة أو المحل أو البزنس ما عندوش الوقت، ومش هيسيب شغله ويروح يثقف الناس دي ويحارب في الإعلام. وربما ما عندوش القدرة، بس حتى لو عنده قدرة، وفي كتير عنده قدرة، ما عندوش الوقت. فالحمد لله ببناء هذا الوقف وهذه المؤسسة هناك ناس عندهم القدرة ومدربين على أحسن وأفضل مستوى، وعندهم الوقت عشان هذا تخصصهم. كل المطلوب الآن يعني الماكينة موجودة، محتاجة إيه؟ بنزين، وقود عشان تسير وتعمل. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولعلكم ترحمون. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره، اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. يعني يشرفنا ان احنا يعني ربنا سبحانه وتعالى اختارنا لهذا العمل، وكتير مننا اللي في هذا العمل يعني كنا نعمل في القطاع الخاص، وبصراحة كان الدخل افضل بكثير في عالم القطاع الخاص، ولكن كان الشيء يعني جوانا او داخلنا في يعني مش في افتقاد لشيء اسمى، واخترنا هذا الطريق، وهذا اختيارنا. يعني لا نزكي نفسنا على أحد، هذا اختيار لن نندم عليه وسعداء به، أن ربنا اختارنا أن نعمل هذا العمل. ولكن في نفس الوقت نحن نجزم أننا لا نستطيع أن نعمل هذا العمل وحدنا، أننا في حاجة إلى جاليتنا أن تكون في ظهرنا وأن نكون في ظهرها، ونعمل معا حتى نبني هذه الجالية بقوة. وأن يعني مهم جدا بالنسبة لي أن أولادنا الصغيرين ما يكبروش وعندهم أي نوع من الانهزامية أمام أعداء الدين، اللي هم الناس اللي جواهم ظلم وظلام بالنسبة لينا أو للآخرين. وإحنا نقف للعدالة للجميع، مش بس للمسلمين على فكرة. يعني مؤسسة كير كولومبوس تقف للعدل والعدالة لجميع أفراد المجتمع الأمريكي، ولكن أولوياتنا المسلمين، وهذا من حقنا على أساس أن يعني مش عندنا limited funds أو مش فلوس كتيرة، فلازم نركز على شيء أو آخر. تمام؟ فإن شاء الله بعد الصلاة هطلب منكم ان تفضلوا معانا دقائق قليلة، وبإذن الله نقدر ان احنا اي مبلغ من المبالغ نلمه مع بعض هيكون ان شاء الله في ميزان حسناتنا، وهيساعدنا في العمل الخير ان شاء الله والعدالة. شوية announcements. NICC Annual Fundraising Banquet هيكون يوم السبت 16 نوفمبر في ماريوت نورث ويست. التفاصيل هتكون في احد اللوائح بالخارج، والتذاكر 25 للأدلت، وتستطيعوا أن تشوفوا يعني مزيد من المعلومات على صفحة الإنترنت أو الويب سايت. يوم الجمعة أكتوبر 25، يوم الجمعة إن شاء الله هناك حديث من الأخت الدكتور أسماء مبين الدين، تربية الأولاد في أمريكا وتحسين الاتصالات ما بين أفراد الأسرة والمجتمع. سبتمبر أكتوبر 26 بعد صلاة العشاء Helping Hand Program، وهناك محاضرة من الشيخ ياسر قاضي. الخميس أكتوبر 31 Family Game Night، ويوم الحد آخر شيء نوفمبر 3 من 1 ل 4 نور بزنس Open House. ومن فضلكم تزكوا للمسجد لو كان هناك يعني فرصة لذلك. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يتقبل منا مجهودنا، وأن يوجهنا إلى طريق الصواب وطريق النور، وأن نخطي على خطاه سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم في عملنا اليومي، سواء كان في عملنا الاحترافي أو في حياتنا الشخصية. يا الله، اللهم كن معنا ولا تكن علينا، اللهم وفقنا إلى ما تحبه وترضاه، اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات، المؤمنين والمؤمنات، الأحياء منهم والأموات، إنك سميع مجيب الدعوات. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله. استقيموا واعتدلوا يرحمكم الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. اخواني هطلب منكم لو استطعتم ان تفضلوا معنا، تبقوا معنا بس 5 دقائق. يعني ان شاء الله بعون الله نريد ان احنا مع بعض نقدر نجمع حوالي 10,000 دولار لهذا العمل، لهذا الوقف. وان شاء الله يعني هذه الغرفة الكريمة قادرة واكثر. We need to, inshallah, just with your permission, after God's, to spend some time together to raise $10,000 if we can, entirely 100% for Care Columbus. Do we have a first hand for, I'm going to say 1,000. I want to say 2, but if you want to do 2, just raise 2 fingers and surprise us. But to save some time, I'll begin with 1. اليد الأولى إن شاء الله ب$1,000. كنت أريد أن أقول 2,000 يعني، إذا أردت 2,000 يعني ارفع صباعين إن شاء الله. نبدأ باليد الأولى إن شاء الله. يعني هذه أنا أعلم إن يعني الصلاة الثالثة من إخواننا اللي جايين من الدول العربية، من الناس اللي فاهمين أهمية إن إحنا يكون عندنا جالية مسلمة قوية في هذا البلد، نحافظ على قوانيننا بإيدينا إحنا. We need, inshallah, your support to ensure the strength of our work by our own hands. Do we have a first hand for 1,000, inshallah? We're creating powerful young people who go out into the communities, into the media, into the halls of Congress, into the courthouses to make change. Do we have a hand for 1,000, inshallah? Raise it high and strong. MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khair. Takbir. Takbir. Our brother here has broken the ice. He shattered it with a hammer, and inshallah more will come. Do we have a second hand for 1,000? Think of this young girl who's erased just because she chose to follow her deen. How many other young people are erased every day and bullied and have nowhere to go? We're finding these kids. We're asking them to come to us, and we're supporting them 100%. Your dollars assist us in this justice, from the young to the old. Do we have a second hand for 1,000 inshallah? Raise it high and strong. يعني أي مبلغ النهاردة بنعطيه لوجه الله هذا مبلغ يعني مش خسرانين واحنا كسبانينه، والفلوس اللي بتفضل معانا هي اللي احنا بنخسرها ولا بنعرف راحت فين. فإن شاء الله النية تكون لله مش ليا ولا للجمهور، وربنا سبحانه وتعالى البركة بتاعت يعني الدونيشن بتاعت الزكاة أو الصدقة اللي هتعطوها ستروها قريبا جدا، يعني في الدنيا وطبعا في الآخرة أكثر وأكثر. فيد أخرى $1,000 إن شاء الله. يعني المبلغ المطلوب من هذه الغرفة 10، فلو في حد يقدر يدي 5 وفر علينا وقت ممتاز. يعني يد أخرى إن شاء الله $1,000. Do we have a second hand for 1,000 inshallah? Okay, I'm going to shift to 500, and inshallah we can get a few hands. And I know some people are praying sunnah, and I apologize for the distraction. Maybe when they're done we'll get more assistance. Do we have a second hand for 500 inshallah? A hand for 500? We have here, brother. Jazakumullah khair. Takbir, alhamdulillah. We have a hand. Do we have a third hand for 500 inshallah? A third hand for 500? If somebody's calling, tell them to help us get 500. Do we have a third? We have it, alhamdulillah, in the back, brother, right here in the center. Jazakumullah khair. Do we have a fourth hand for 500? If there's a volunteer who sees a hand, and people in the back, in the women's section, in the sides, we have volunteers everywhere. Do we have a third hand for 500, inshallah, or is it a fourth? I lose now. Another hand for 500? We do in the back there. Jazakumullah khair. Keep your hand up high, my brother. Jazakumullah khair. We have another hand for 500. Do you see him, my dear volunteer, right here? The good-looking gentleman right there? Yeah. Do we have a fifth hand for 500? We're getting closer. We do, by the door. Come on in. Don't be shy. And grab an envelope. Jazakumullah khair. Right from the door, mashallah. Do we have a sixth hand for 500, inshallah? A sixth hand for 500. That would mean that it will close 4,000. Maybe we can get to 5,000. Do we have a sixth hand for 500? Keep in mind that every single case that we take costs about $25,000, but we charge our community members $0. This is work done for free. Private attorneys don't even want to take these cases because they're too controversial, but we take them anyway because we believe in our community. Do we have a sixth hand for 500? A sixth hand for 500, inshallah. Okay, I can shift to 250. Maybe we can get some hands for 250. If you, mashallah, we have a brother right here. Jazakumullah khair. Do we have another hand for 250? Right here. 250, inshallah. Raise your hand up. And if you want to give any amount privately, you're welcome to do so. Just get an envelope, fill it out, and send it in, inshallah, if you don't want it announced. Any amount will help, whether it's $500, $250, $5,000, $50, whatever you can give. This is zakat eligible and tax deductible. It goes to Care Columbus's work to build justice for our community in Congress, through the media, and through the courthouses. And as I mentioned, it's tax deductible. Assalamu alaikum, how are you? You want to come? MashaAllah. Do we have one last hand for 250? All right, whatever amount you can give, inshallah, please find our brothers. Try to support us with anything that you can, just because, to me, what matters is the number of people and not the amount of money. Jazakumullah khair.